Oh, hello there. I'm currently getting eaten up by mosquitoes, but it's so hot I'm keeping the window open. I just got back from a walk. Would not recommend as a girl going on walks just at all. I started strong by going to the Lebanese place, which I like to go there sometimes to get some dinner to go. And I know the guy because I've been going there for like a year. And then he just randomly asked me if I live alone and was like asking me like some really personal questions. And he's like this older dad type, and I think it always sucks when you put your trust in like an older male as a girl and then they let you down. I feel like that's happened a lot to me. And then I went on my walk. I got followed. It's funny because I was making this vlog about going blonde, but I honestly would not recommend going blonde in Paris because I feel like I don't know, it's like catnip to these men. I feel like I wasn't bothered as much when I had darker hair. But yeah, as I was making this vlog about going blonde, on the last day when I was showing you guys the results, I had some really interesting thoughts, I think, one day around not abandoning myself anymore for other people, other situations, which is something I'm still working on because I think as a very highly sensitive person, if you guys have watched my videos, you guys know I'm like super sensitive. I think that I invest in people really deeply. I invest in my work very deeply, and in some ways I sort of put myself second. And the problem is every time that you do that, you are saying that you don't matter as much, and subconsciously that has an effect on you, you know? Oh, the Eiffel Tower is sparkling outside. ADD. It's funny because we do these things because we're caring and we love people and we want people. I really like for the people around me to feel good and to feel special. But I think one of the great lessons of getting older is learning to protect yourself. I think that's something growing up that I really struggled with a lot because I just had such a good heart as a kid. Like, I was so sweet. Like, I would bring homeless people home, and I don't know, I just loved so much. And I think I had to learn to develop sort of I think now I have like two sides of my personality. I have either the nicest girl you've ever met, like if I'm with you, I will be super present with you and I will try to make you feel like the most special person in the room because I don't know, like I love people. But then the other side of me is like the ice queen, for example, those guys on the street earlier, like, and I think that it's important that these two exist together because the ice queen is there to protect the inner child. And I know that sounds so cringy, but we have these two parts of us. One is our most soft self, and then the other is like the mother of that self, or you could call it the big sister. And so that's the ice queen part. And I just detach when I get into that mood. And my main goal is to just protect myself. And I think that that's something that goes along with not abandoning yourself, is realizing that like you have a responsibility to yourself to protect yourself, to take care of yourself, and ask yourself, what do you need? And yeah, so I think it is important to have that sort of duality because the ideal is that we can be our like softest, most empathic self, but at the same time, there are also periods of sort of self-reflection that we need to have, you know, and how are we doing in the world. I think I really try to pay attention to my nervous system around people and situations. For example, I get really happy whenever I'm making music, and so I know that I always try to follow what feels good. Where there's certain people where like on paper they can seem really good, but in reality like you don't feel that good around them, and maybe you don't know why, but all that matters is your reality, you know? It actually doesn't matter the reason why you don't feel good around them. If you don't feel good, you don't fucking feel good, you know? So, yeah. But anyway, before we dive in, I do want to thank our video sponsor, which is BetterHelp. If you guys don't know, BetterHelp is an online therapy resource, and what I love about it is you can do it from anywhere in the world, from the comfort of your own home. For example, I was on tour this summer and it was very useful to just know that I could call someone whenever I needed to. So how it works is you take a short questionnaire and then they will match you with a licensed therapist that is perfect for you. It's really great because they have a wide range of therapists, so you're sure to find somebody that you will vibe with. I feel like a therapist is sort of like a friend where you have to sort of like vet it out, and they make it really easy to change therapists if ever you're not really feeling the one that they matched you with. It's also much more affordable than traditional therapy, and they make it very accessible. For example, if you're a student or a young professional, they make therapy very reasonably priced, and it's super convenient because all you have to do is log in and you're talking to somebody. I think that so often, like, sort of the inconveniences of going to see a therapist is what keeps us from actually seeking help. I think there's a lot of negative stigma around therapy, and so having it sort of tailored to you, and also, you know, being able to do it from anywhere, making it super convenient, is a really big plus. So if you would like to try online therapy, I would highly recommend it. I think it's always great to have these sort of tools in our toolbox, and they're actually offering 10% off your first month for anyone who is watching this, which is so nice. So all you have to do is go to betterhelp.com/purple. That's BetterHelp, HLP.com/purple. So thank you so much to BetterHelp. We're gonna get into the video. And yeah. I woke up feeling like a little bit, I don't know what to call this. I really like this mood though. It's like emotional, but not like sad emotional. It's like things touch me very deeply emotional. For example, I just got back from my show that I did in Brussels, and after the show I always like to interview people. I don't know why, I just think it's fun. And I was talking to someone who was talking about how the most beautiful thing in life is heartbreak. And I don't know why, I loved when he said that, and I think it's because when you experience heartbreak, it's because you have allowed yourself to actually feel something very deeply. And I think that there's nothing more beautiful in life than having the courage to feel things. You know, sometimes people tell me that they like my personality better in person. And like, I'm flattered, but then it also kind of makes me sad, because it means that, for example, if I meet someone and they just watch my videos and they don't get to know me in person, that they're just getting like this very sort of flat version of myself. Because at the end of the day, what is making content other than just talking to an inanimate object, you know? I struggle with that sometimes, like all of like the different identities that I've decided to create, and some of them, for example, with YouTube, I'm very conscious of wanting to like be a light for others and bring others up. And then with my music, for example, I sort of look at it as a way to explore feelings that I wouldn't necessarily explore in real life. For example, I get to feel like really unhinged, and that's very fun for me. So I feel like there's like different selves existing out there, and I think it's like you sort of fragment yourself in all of these different ways, sort of like, you know, in Harry Potter. bringing you back to Harry Potter. You know, like in Harry Potter, when Voldemort, I can't believe I'm using this reference. Voldemort would he would hide different horcruxes of his soul in different objects, and I feel like I've sort of done that. Ew. You know what's kind of funny is like sometimes like I feel myself like getting emotional, but it's more like because I like the feeling of it, and then I like make myself laugh because I'm like, you're being so extra. Do you guys ever feel like you have fragmented yourself in some ways, whether that's like who you are
with your school friends, or you are at work, or different identities that it's hard to let go of. I can think, for example, letting go of my old art studio was a really big deal for me, because a lot of those pieces that I had made like my first year of university. And I think that like it gave me this new identity of like, wow, like all of these sculptures, it was sort of like a shield of protection. And when I moved out of that, I got rid of some pieces, I've sold some pieces, and I sort of had to say, like, who am I without all of this, you know? Because I think it's so easy when you get praised for something, like, to attach yourself to that certain identity. And I was, for the first time, like, not having that space, not having that studio, and just being like, am I enough by myself? Like, am I enough without this identity of like artist, or without all of, you know, these things? For example, I would always invite people over to my studio, and I loved seeing, like, when they'd walk into the studio space, their eyes be like, wow, like she has such a cool world, you know? Like it's almost like I needed that to make myself worthy of like being a human, you know, or like and I wonder if you guys have anything like that. Like, is there anything in your life that you use as sort of a buffer between you and other people? I think what I really like about doing music now is I feel like there's so much more of a risk, because there's not really something there to protect you. It's like the most purest connection. Like when I go on stage, half the time I sound so bad. I feel like, but like that's also me being like, I'm okay if people come to my show and they see me and then they go tell their friends like, oh shoot, wasn't that good? Like I have to be okay with that, because it's not about being good. It's about just showing up and being like, this is the best I could do in this moment, you know? Which is, I think, very contrary to how it was a few years ago when I had my studio and when I had all of these like accolades with my artwork. Like I loved being like the artist. I loved that because it gave me a sense of value. But the thing about that is, when you place your value in something that is your work or your beauty or your friends, those are all things that can go away, you know? And so I'm wondering if you guys have anything that you use as a buffer between yourself and the rest of the world. Do you have anything, like a certain identity that you're attached to because it makes you feel like you're worthy of being loved, you know? I think growing up, I was the last child, and like sort of the family dynamics were sort of already set up, and so I think that in order to get attention, I just had to be like very prolific in work. Like I felt like if I can just like get really good grades, or if I can just be like very outgoing, and like when there's a family party, be like making everyone laugh, then I'm like worthy of being here. There's all these birds outside of my window. Where are they going? And I think now I'm just like at this point of looking back at my younger self and being like, oh my god, I love you so much. Like I just love how oh my god, I just love you so much, and I could just see how much like I just wanted to be loved, and how much I just wanted to I just wanted like people around me to feel good, and I think that every time that you put someone else's needs before your own, every time that you are trying to be something or prove something to be loved, you're abandoning yourself, you know? And I think of all the times that I abandoned myself just to feel like I was enough or something. I think I needed to go through certain stages of that growth, you know? But now I'm like at a point where I'm like, what do I need? You know, like, what do I need? What do I need? Well, I'm blonde.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I think if I used to be in like this very like pensive mood, I think I would try to buffer that with other people too. Like I think that I would try to act like I'm really like upbeat because that's what people like about me. But actually, I like this part of myself too. So, yeah, I hope that you guys like me. I hope you guys like me. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I said something interesting. Maybe I didn't. But yeah, whatever. Love you. Have a good day. I have some other vlogs coming up. Like I have a Berlin vlog coming up and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys will find that interesting. Okay. Bye.